Hello guys and welcome to volokinproject. It's your favorite YouTuber Tony here. Today I'm gonna have a look at the original Xiaomi Mi Mix, the bezel-less beast from early 2017. In case you're thinking Xiaomi was the first one to release a bezel-less phone, actually Sharp was the one, guys. A few years before that they released the Sharp Aquos Crystal. However, that was never intended to be a flagship phone rather than a proof of concept, although they sold pretty well in Japan as well as the US on the Sprint network. But anyway, today we'll have a look at the original Xiaomi Mi Mix. We're at the Mi Mix 3 stage at the moment. I've reviewed pretty much every single one of them except for the two. And it's 2020, the prices has dropped. I just got one of those for 130 pounds, guys, which is absolutely crazy value for money. If you want to know how I got it this cheaply, follow me on my Ko-fi page and subscribe for the monthly subscription. Now we're gonna have a look at this amazing Xiaomi Mi Mix and why it is still relevant in 2020 and probably in 2021 as well, guys. So first of all, the design. The design is absolutely amazing. The phone is huge, is very big, guys, and because of this 6.4-inch 1080p LCD screen, which is very bright, by the way. I've measured 619 lux, guys, which is extremely bright for a LCD screen. And because of this huge screen, the phone still feels relevant. As you can see, very tiny borders on the sides and a little bit of a chin over here at the bottom where it's housing the front-facing camera. A little bit later on the camera department. Therefore, you don't have face unlock because this camera is not looking at your face. Rather than you've got a rear fingerprint reader which works 100% of the time, guys, and it is very reliable. Check this out. I'm very happy with the fingerprint reader of this phone. So design wise, very nice, very clean. The other distinct feature apart from the bezel-less design was the ceramic back. Unfortunately, this ceramic back, I don't know what kind of coating did they put, is an absolute fingerprint magnet as well as it's a scratch magnet as well. I've already scuffed the corners and the phone is just like a week old. So although it looks fantastic, you really have to put a case on this one. Unfortunately, there is a version with a golden accents with a little bit more storage, which was a little bit more expensive, but just the regular 4 GB of RAM, 64 gigs. Was it 128? Probably 128 gigs of storage still gets the job done. If you're worried about the performance, Snapdragon 821 over here, it keeps 40 FPS constant on CASJA benchmark, which means that you can actually play any light game at maximum FPS, as well as you can play Call of Duty at about medium settings without too much lag. Definitely playable. The performance itself is excellent, especially considering I flashed a custom ROM over here, but again on the ROM a little bit later on. Actually, why not speak about the ROM straight away, guys? The phone was shipped with a Android 8, unfortunately, guys, security patch from 2018, which means Xiaomi provided only 1 year of updates on this phone. Granted, it was, MIUI 11, but because of the older Android version, there was no dark mode and there were no full gesture support. So what I did, actually, I've covered that in another video that I've published on my channel, how to flash Android 10 on this phone. Of course, the community on the XDA is great because you can unlock the bootloader, you can root, there was a twerp recovery available, as well as Magisk. So you can flash whatever Android 10 ROM you want. There are a few of them. I personally run the Moki ROM, but it's your personal preference. My point is, because of the fantastic third-party development, Android 10 is running very smooth on this phone. Gestures are on and dark mode is on as well. So all good news out here. The other innovation about this phone was the piezoelectric speaker, which is somewhere inside the phone. So pretty much the whole screen can be used as a speaker when you talk like that. Especially useful, if your mom is holding the phone like that when she's speaking and she always complains she can't hear you. But yeah, otherwise you've got a bottom firing speaker, which is okay, about average, I would say, and you've got a 3.0 2.5mm jack, which is super loud, guys. You've got the equalizer profiles as well, and if I'm sweating a little bit right now is because it's over 30 degrees in the UK, and of course we don't have an air conditioning because usually it's like 2 days in a year like that, so excuse me for that. The battery in that beast is 4400 milliamp hours. Back in the day that was one of the most powerful batteries put in any phone. It supports 18-watt charging, and in half an hour you can get 35%, in 1 hour 68%, and full charge takes place just under 2 hours, guys, or more or less 2 hours. And the battery life itself with the custom ROM is between 4 and 5 hours of screen on time, which is perfectly acceptable still in 2020. Now, probably the biggest letdown of this phone was the camera setup. At the front you've got only a tiny little 5 megapixel camera over here. Xiaomi used that camera for 3 generations for the Mix 2, and the Mix 2 is absolutely mind-blowing. 5 megapixel is really terrible camera, guys. No stabilization on the front camera as well. The sensor is actually OmniVision 5675, and you can see a few examples of the selfies. They don't look that great actually. At the back you've got a 16 megapixel camera, again OmniVision sensor. The model is 16880. Similar to some Le Eco phones that we used to have back in the day. Unfortunately, no stabilization even after I have enabled the camera to API, and despite a few applications that I've tried, I couldn't get the stabilization to work whatsoever. So for videos, just forget about it, guys. And the thing is that for photos, the stock camera setup is really not good. I mean, the application really not good photos, but luckily you can install one of the latest Gcam rips and you can get some fantastic results. Just have a look at those two photos, guys. That was from the stock camera and that was from the Gcam APK. A huge difference. So actually, if you put some effort and patience in it, you can take some good quality photos, but of course no wide angle camera and none of the fancy stuff like that. So before I conclude this video, let's have a quick look at the Volokin Spectrum spreadsheet. I have tested over 100 Android phones and let's see where does it fall in my spreadsheet, guys. I've got 10 different categories, 0 to 6 score, well 1 to 6 practically. So let's have a look at the first department, which is design and build quality. Absolutely 5 out of 5 because of the bezel-less design and the ceramic capabilities. The security gets 3 out of 5. You've got no face unlock, but the fingerprint reader is actually fantastic. The battery life gets 3 out of 5 as well, easily 5 hours of screen on time. I usually give only 3 out of 5 to LCD screens which are 1080p, but this screen is especially bright and is bezel-less, so 1 bonus point. 4 out of 5. The bottom speaker is nothing special, 3 out of 5, but the headphone jack is amazing, 5 out of 5. The software gets 4 out of 5 simply because of the Android 8 version, although you can flash a custom Android 10 ROM, and performance gets 4 out of 5. Keep something else in mind though, in gaming the phone heats up quite quickly, so be careful of that. And unfortunately the selfie camera, I can't really give it more than 1 out of 5, guys. 5 megapixel is unacceptable. Even in 2017 it was unacceptable. So the rear camera gets 2 out of 5. The stock camera application is really not optimized properly. You can install Gcam, but it's a hassle. So yeah, 2 out of 5. So how much is the overall Volokin Spectrum score? It's 34 out of 60, guys, which is placing the phone in the middle of my table. Actually, it takes 44th place on my table, which is not too bad for a phone which is over 3.5, almost 4 years old now, guys. So what is my advice actually? Should you buy this phone in 2020 or 2021 or in the future if you're watching this video? Well, depends on the price, guys. Again, if you follow me on Coffee, 130 pounds gets you a brand new unit, guys. So if you're not specifically after the latest and greatest camera setup, if you don't care too much about it, this is definitely a go, guys, because there is no screen burn pretty much because it's not an AMOLED screen. It's absolutely massive 6.4 inch 16:9 screen, which means watching YouTube videos is an absolute pleasure on this device, guys. And in terms of design, It's unlike anything else on the market pretty much. So yeah, for 130, 150 pounds, something like that, this is definitely worth it. I really enjoyed my time with this phone, guys, and I feel I have very warm feelings towards it. I feel a little bit sorry for myself that I couldn't try it when it was released 3 years ago, but to be honest with you, I didn't have the money to buy one because it was a lot more expensive. You had to import it from China, and it didn't make too much sense back in the day, but now when it's so cheap, it's actually an excellent deal, guys. So yeah, pretty much that's it. Let me know in the comment section below if you actually have or had this phone and what was your experience with it. I would love to hear some peculiar stories. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Subscribe to Vlokin Project if you haven't already. I'm gonna see you in the next one. Adios.